Discover, Visa, and MasterCard, they went and got J. Crew, Macy's, K Jeweler credit cards on top of that, and then they ran them all up. And they just paying $5. That minimum payment, they like, I can't wait for that student loan check to come. That shit right there, at 20, it'll overwhelm you.
Yes.
Right? You'd be like...
And you don't want to tell your parents.
You don't want to because they already told you not to do it.
Right. So what you do, where do you go? You can't talk to your other friends. They, your age or your peers, they broke as hell.
Yeah.
You can't go to no older adult. They might try to, be like, hit you with a native in a bind and be like, oh, so what you want to do for that 1,000?
Right.
What you want to do?
Hashtag Mo Gently Talks. It's the clean theory. Clean spirit homes and lives when you feeling weary. The space is safe to purge and re-emerge. We hope you feel the urge on the verge to stay driven while looking at the lives of 3 dope black women. No topics forbidden, raw, bearing our souls. We got love for everybody, even some for you trolls. Talking life, lost love, how to get to the bag. The clean theory, Mo Gently Talks. It's the hashtag.
You're Simone Arabia. That's the hashtag.
That's me.
Mo Gently Talks. How y'all doing?
Hey, y'all.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back.
Thank you for coming back.
How y'all been?
Welcome to episode 5, y'all. Super, super, super duper excited.
Yes.
Thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for growing with us. Every day, we get more followers. We get more views. We get more comments. We're going live. We're trying to push ourselves as much as possible. So your support is definitely appreciated. And y'all are special. And we want to say thank you.
Y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here and for sharing and for commenting, subscribing, and liking.
We want to get into episode 5. This is the second part of the series entitled, What Would We Tell Our 20-Year-Old Selves? We have a wealth of information that we have accumulated throughout our lives. And looking back on our 20-year-old selves, as I said in episode 4, you can either look back negatively or positively, or have a nice little mixture of both. But the first thing I wanted to talk about was saving your money and investing.
Yes.
I wish when I first started my good government job that I put a good amount of money into my savings. I would have a lot more money than I do now. Of course, my husband and I were doing well, and I'm very thankful for my partner. But I don't have so much more money.
Amen.
If I invested when I was 24 years old, if I stacked when I was 24 years old, that's crazy money that I would have under my belt right now. So I would definitely tell my daughter, again, who's about to be 21, that stack your money. It's okay. We don't need to go online shopping all the time. Just put a little money aside, even though it's addictive. The Amazon driver, me and him are real tight. It's a whole nother issue, but we'll talk about that later. Stack your money, invest in your future, and don't listen to the people that say, you can't take it with you, or YOLO, whatever the hell they saying now. Prepare for your future.
Yeah.
Live like you're going to live for a long time. If you're reckless with your money right now, you're going to have pennies in the future, and you're going to be pissed and going to be upset. And the only person that you're going to have to blame for that is you. So invest wisely. And make sure you stack.
Yeah, that was the lesson that took me a long time to not necessarily learn, right? Because I understood it, but there's tools and ways that you're supposed to, figure out how to save. There's a sort of a science to it, and I didn't. And so when you don't do that, what I learned is that you don't respect money. And so when you don't respect money, you don't respect what it takes to save and to build wealth. And just because I understood I need to save, but I didn't respect that there was a science to it and the mechanics to saving, and sometimes having to not do this or not have that or whatever. And I'm a frugal person. I don't spend my money on a lot of things. But just having the mindset of continuously being like, nope, I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it here, I'm going to invest it here, I'm going to diversify that. It took me a long time to appreciate that and to understand that. And now I totally have a much more bigger appreciation for money. And of course, I think that the reason why I didn't is because my mother was completely against credit cards. She was completely against that sort of thing. She had one incident with a credit card and she was like, never again.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so she really was like, oh, there's money in like the drawer and stuff like that. And her thing was that if it's not here, then I don't have it. And so
which isn't terrible.
No, it's not. It's not terrible. But what I learned from this one right here is that I may not have $1,000 right now, but if I have A1 credit and I have a really good rapport with the credit card company, if I have an emergency, I can call and ask them for a line of credit or an increase or whatever, and I can get it right now. If you don't have $1,000 right now, and I think $1,000 is cash is better than credit. But there's certain instances having good credit gets you things like that if you don't have the cash on hand, there's nothing you can do about it.
So in my 20s, throughout my life, money has been a big driver of just about everything that I do, right? I've always come from a family background of credit is very important. Saving was a big thing that I learned really early on with piggy banks and bank accounts. I think I had my first savings account at a credit union when I was like 6. You know what I mean? But knowing the things that I know now, one, in my early 20s, this older gentleman at our job said, when you buy something, buy it in cash. Don't buy it in credit. You end up paying them more money and you lose the money. And you always real smart about your money. You got savings bonds, you got this, you got that. You know, you all about saving, right? And I didn't listen, of course, because I was just like, whatever my mother said. Because we all go back to what our mother said, right? All I need is good credit. And that's all I wanted to do. But now, you know, fast forward to where I am now, I own a home, and I wish that I wasn't still paying for said home. I just wanted to be paid for. And now that I look back on it, I'm not going to just pay for the amount of the home, the amount in interest. By the time you finish paying it off, you done paid for the home 3-4 times. What I would tell my younger self is educate yourself. I would give a shout out to the Wall Street Trapper. I'm just saying, I started following him on Instagram, and he was like, I looked at his story. He talked about how he used to be a bad boy. He went to, he knew a little bit about the stock market, but then he went to prison and learned a lot because he had a lot of time on his hands. He started dropping little jewels. And I was like, okay, let me pick that up. I just got a few $100s. Let me see what happens. Boop. Oh, shit. Okay, I'm going to have to look into this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to have to do this more. So, as soon as somebody, drop a little carrot, I try to dig in. And every time I get a little bit of pocket of money, I see if he put something out there. Now you got to buy a book. But I just go look, and I think back when I went to middle school, I remember being in Mr. Hoffman class, and we had career day. And this guy came who was in the stocks, and he was like, hey kids, if you ever get some money, buy a Disney stock. What? I loved Disney World when I was in 7th grade. Everybody. And so the only thing I knew when it was time to start investing, I was like, well, I'm going to do that. And now I look more at different things. But again, I'm not well versed in it. I just know, I look at the things that I like to buy.
I want to talk about taking care of your credit. Now, we kind of hit on it a little bit, but I want to share a story. My mother and father, and I, listen, on this show, I want to talk about my life. I don't want anyone to get offended.
We love you.
This is my truth.
Exactly.
And that's just it. Clearly, you guys did a great job, and I love you for it. But I just remember snippets, and this is a snippet. I remember my father sitting at the table with his bills. Big Al is very organized, paying his bills with his checkbook, balancing his checkbook. He even had a stamp made with his name, address, and everything on it. So he could back in the day, it was checks. It wasn't online. So he could send his check in the little envelope that came with the invoice that had the window cut out, and he could put his blah, blah, blah stamp on it. Always diligent, always at the table, always made sure the checkbook was balanced. I saw this, and deep down inside, I knew it was a way to go. However, I really didn't carry myself like that until later on in life. I was not told to sit down and read any types of books on credit because, of course, back then it really wasn't like a Skillshare or an online class where you can learn about credit. It was just pretty much word of mouth, like everything else. So I saw my parents paying their bills, and I knew it was the right thing to do, but it was never really hammered home that I should take care of my credit. I just saw that they were doing the right thing. I knew that I should be doing the same thing in order to have finances like my parents, but I never did what I was supposed to do until, later on in my 20s. And kids watch, kids listen, and kids are very observant. But I think that as parents or anybody who is in the life of a young adult, I want you to sit down with them for a second. There's all sorts of online classes, YouTube classes. Skillshare has a lot of classes on how to multiply decimals, how to pot a plant, how to make rosemary sourdough bread, all of that. So, of course, they have classes on how to take care of your credit and how to maintain good credit and the ins and outs of credit and, of course, all three of the credit bureaus. So I said all that to say, I wish I would have taken better time or better care of my credit. And now that I know that I should have done that, my kids are going to be inundated with information related to credit. So much so I'm going to get on their nerves, but that's fine.
That's fine.
But they will know.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, though. I mean, I like what you said about informing your children ahead of time. But as you know, we've all made mistakes with our credit, especially when you're a young adult and you're in college.
And they have the kiosk on campus.
There it is. And they're giving away
free, which is banned now.
Free
they
slinkies.
Can't do that no more.
Thank you.
For a $500 credit card because you need a fucking slinky.
Because you need a slinky. You need it.
So, you get the credit card. Your parents told you not to do it, but you like everybody.
It's terrible. It's
everybody
terrible.
On their way to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
They're
going to PG Plaza to the Gap.
There it is. Okay. You need a new Gucci watch to go to the Legends. Dumb stuff. Okay.
Long MCL.
How do you help your kid feel comfortable enough to be like, hey, Ma, I messed up? And you don't go just straight bail them out, but you help them figure out what they need to do to come back. Because you're going to make mistakes, right?
Right.
Our kids, some of us got kids over 18, right? And right now, I've given my daughter information about credit. Like I'd be like, here's some tools on how to build your credit. Here are the things that you cannot do. Don't be late paying a bill. That's dumb. You can always pay the minimum amount. $5 ain't nothing.
It's not going to put a dent in it, but it's not going to mess up your history.
It's not going to mess up your history. Like, you got to do it. But how do you rationalize or how do you work with your kid when they mess it up? Because they went to PG Plaza, got on top of their Discover, Visa, and MasterCard, they went and got J. Crew, Macy's, K Jeweler credit cards on top of that, and then they ran them all up. And they just paying $5. That minimum payment, they like, I can't wait for that student loan check to come. I need some help. Like, how do you get them into a better mental space then? Because that shit right there, at 20, it'll overwhelm you.
Yes.
Right? You'd be like...
And you don't want to tell your parents.
You don't want to because they already told you not to do it.
Right. So what you do, where do you go? You can't talk to your other friends. They, your age or your peers, they broke as hell.
Yeah.
You can't go to no older adult. They might try to, be like, hit you with a native in a bind and be like, oh, so what you want to do for this 1,000?
Right.
What you want to do?
Praise the Lord.
What you think?
I think that if you foster a safe space, right, and we're all about safe spaces here on Clean Theory. If you continuously show your children that regardless of the mistakes that they make, that you are the safest space, home is the safest space, this is the place where they get support, but also information on how they can do better and figure things out for themselves.
Yeah.
Because if you all about, hey, you better not F up your credit, you better not do this, you better not do that, they know they're not going to come to you.
Yeah.
Right? They're not going to come to you when they got 16 credit cards and they only been paying $5. They're not going to do it. Right? So while you're teaching them all of these tools, also tell them, listen, I want you to use these tools because I want you to do better than I did. But I'm not stupid, right? We were also talking about being in reality.
Yep.
I know that you're going to mess up. Right? But when you do mess up, come to me. The sooner you come to me, the easier it is for us to fix it.
Right.
Yes.
Let's fix it. Let's talk about what you're going to do. Because I can't fix it for you. You're an adult now.
Right.
But I can give you the information so you can make better decisions and fix it for yourself. So you can critically assess the situation that you're in and take positive actions. that's going to bring you out of the hole.
Because you need to get out of
it's
the
going
hole.
to take a long time. It's very quick to get in that hole. You just jump right in that MF, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But digging yourself out take a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be consistent, especially with credit, with money, because you're young. You still want to you want to meet your friends down in Daytona. You want to meet your friends down in, Miami. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm still paying that $5. Hey, how you doing? Can I get an increase?
Mm-hmm.
How much? Okay, you gonna give me $300. Let me call the other one. Hey, can I get an increase? You gonna give me $300 too? Oh shit, bitch, we into something. Hey, can I get an increase?
Yeah.
Girl, I'm up to $1,000.
Too much.
Let's
We
rent
about
the
to
car.
go to Miami. Speaking of Miami, I wish I would have traveled more when I was in my 20s. I think that, well, not in school because I had to be focused on school, but when I got out, before I had my children, before I was tied down, I definitely would have traveled more, and not just in the U.S., but I want to go abroad. I want to go to Europe. I want to go to other places. I would love to go to Australia.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to Japan. There's a young lady I follow on YouTube. Her name is Sunday Love. I'll put her picture somewhere up here. And your girl is brown. She's in her 20s, and she's been living in Japan for years.
I love it.
Has her own business. She's originally from California, has her own business doing it, knows how to maneuver, gets on a train, speaks a little bit of the language, goes to little stuff, goes to the grocery store. And I'm just amazed at where she is mentally. I would be terrified to do that in my 20s. But she's bought a home. She's made friends. She's living it. She knows her way around. Y'all need to follow her. You'll be inspired. I'm old as hell, and I'm inspired by this 20-something.
Yeah.
Doing it. Brave as hell. Out here living her life. And I just look at her, and I just smile because I wish that I had that type of mentality. I wish I had that sense of mind when I was that age.
But do you think that's how you were raised? Because, listen, I look at Simone Arabia, okay, and she did what I couldn't do. Like, you took a job and came down. Like, you left your state. My punk ass, girl, I am from Maryland, okay? Prince George's County, Maryland. And so it was a big deal. Like, the people I know in this area, we bought this life. Like, we from this area, right? We do not leave this area. Our family be in this area. It's very rare that we jump out and take a chance and be like, girl, I'm about to move to... It's just very rare. It just doesn't happen. And even when you go away to college, for some reason, you always bring yourself back to this area. And you make your family here, you make your life here. And so it inspires me every time I talk about you, because I'll be like, I'm from New York. Like, that's so huge, right? That is like so huge that you came down here. You have made a life down here. And like, I mean, now technically you're from Maryland, but you originated in New York and you jumped out there and you literally moved down here with no family. Like I'm coming to do this job. And I know
didn't know how to drive, had to get your license right before you came down.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, I wasn't raised to do that. I know every time I've ever done anything like dramatic that has taken me away from home, I was in my mid-20s when I went to Georgia for training, right? Do you know the amount of crying that you would have thought I was going to boot camp in the military, like in Fort Lejeune or something. Like, it was huge. Like, my mother was worked up about it. My girlfriends were worked up about it. It was huge. Like, we just do not leave from this area.
That is true. My husband always talks about he thought that going to Greenbelt was going out of town. If you didn't guess, we live in the DMV area, and Greenbelt is a good 15 minutes away. And when you are in your little bubble, that's out of town. Yeah. Y'all packing bags to go to Greenbelt.
Right.
And it's not necessary to pack a bag to go to Greenbelt.
But it's still like, oh, that's far. I don't know. I think for me leaving was a big deal for everyone else. It literally just made sense to me. And I didn't intend to stay. I intended to come and, establish a career, get my footing, save some money. And then I was going to go back home and then, stay within the same profession, but just, kind of But then honestly, 9/11 happened right before I left. And I didn't know that 9/11 was going to change New York drastically, especially the financial aspect of it. And so then I was like, oh, I mean, I'm federal. Like, why would I go back and go, you know what I mean? So I was like, I'm going to just be federal and I'm going to be popping.
Which you are.
Oh, thank you. But I do think that there was I do think that I did stunt a lot. And I don't mean stunt like floss, like I stunted my growth by not, like I got scared. Like it's weird. I got scared after a while and I was like, I don't know if I want to move somewhere else, you know? I was always afraid of moving. Like this is far, but this is the right amount of far away from my family, right? I can
still get on.
I can still get on the highway. I can still get on the bus or the train. So even any type of thoughts of me, you know, going abroad or whatever the case may be outside of a vacation, I do recognize that I was afraid to jump out the window. And when I left, my people were like, "Why? Where you going?
Right.
What do you mean?" I remember specifically, and I love my sister. Shouts out to my sister, but she was like, "This is how families break up." When I told her that, she was but it's just a testament of how much she loves me and she was gonna miss me and stuff, and you know, my nieces and stuff, and it was, you know, but I appreciate leaving New York, coming down here, meeting people like you guys, especially because y'all got me on the whole travel thing too, right? Not that I never wanted to, but you just don't. My parents ain't go nowhere. My mother died at 58. She never been on a plane. She never took a train nowhere outside of the New York City subway system. Like she did not get on a boat. Like she didn't go nowhere. And so I was like, I do not want that for myself. So I haven't traveled as much as I would like to, but I'm so grateful that I did do some traveling, not necessarily in my 20s, but right after my 20s is when I started to really appreciate it. And again, I'm of a certain age, so mind your business. I would go back and tell myself, my younger self, and I tell all my young nieces, all of my god kids, travel, live, go see the things, do the things, eat all of the foods, embrace all of the cultures. Because once you get married and you have kids, not to say that you can't do it, it's so much more planning and so many more
your
pieces.
Shift.
Yeah, and you can't do it
you
like
may
you
have $2,000 to go to this trip, but you have a husband and some children. You like, I need this $2,000 because you need school clothes in a few months because you just grew
as
out
if you ain't trifling.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, or that.
Right.
You know, or I need to pay this tuition, or you need a new laptop because you threw up on it because you had the stomach virus and didn't say nothing. I mean, all these different things play into, you know, how your
These are not necessarily real scenarios.
Maybe they are. So traveling also leads into meeting new people. You can travel and meet new people, or you can meet new people where you are. I follow this young lady on IG. Her name is, her IG handle is Calculated Opulence. I'll put that somewhere up here. Man.
She's fantastic.
One of the illest chicks on IG. I'm telling you. I found her.
She brown.
Yeah, she's brown. I found her through Lala. Everybody should know who Lala is. Mad funny chick on IG. I'll put her up here as well. But Lala went to Turkey. And she went on a hot air balloon ride. Just went to Turkey and went on a hot air balloon ride. And she ran into this young lady, IG handle Calculated Opulence. And when I started following her, Calculated Opulence, she said her traveling experiences were magnified 100 times when she just talked to people. When she just said, "How you doing? You traveling on business? How long y'all been married for?" Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. We're going to talk about different personalities. Okay. So I said all that to say, be careful because we are females out here. Calculated Opulence. I think her name is Mercedes. She travels by herself a lot. She's like that. She's also, like I said, one of the illest chicks out there. Be careful. of course, she, is very safe and she knows her surroundings and she does a shitload of research before she goes.
Right.
If you're not comfortable traveling by yourself, meeting other people, take somebody with you. It's safety in numbers. But I would say start small. Start, a couple of feet outside your bubble.
Yeah.
Say, how you doing? My name is Jennifer. What's your name? Let me tell you why that's important. Because I said to somebody when I was 17, how you doing? I'm Jennifer. What's your name?
There it is. We've been friends ever since.
So say hi.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. You don't have to keep your head down all the time. Say hi. Introduce yourself. Have a little bit of small talk. And usually your gut will tell you if somebody is, if there's a red blanket that you see, your gut will tell you that. Just listen to it. But factoring in scary personalities of people who suffer from zoophobia and people phobia and every type of phobia out there, like I said, just step a little bit outside your bubble.
People be trying to kill you, okay? That's all I'm saying. I raise my kids like that. Always think, is somebody trying to do something to you? Because that is a real.
You gotta be hyper vigilant too. You do.
I was raised like that. That also does keep me in a protective bubble, but I do recognize that's a part of, purging. I acknowledge that I can get scared, but what I don't do is I let my fear cripple me. I will move past the fear after I acknowledge it. I'm scared as shit, but I'm still going to do whatever it is. I'm still going to catch that flight to this place or that place. Oh, I want to go on this trip, but I don't want to go by myself. So someone has to go with me. Girl, you going? All right, cool. Let's go. Or, or I'm scared, but I'm still going to get on this tightrope. I'm still going to, do this zip line, 300 feet in the air across this water. Like, I'm still going to do it. Now, you said the young lady was on a, like a hot air balloon.
Yes.
And here's the thing. I regret not getting on the hot air balloon. Rewind back to when I met my husband. I was in San Diego. Love San Diego. Shout out to San Diego. He came out there for my birthday to see me because I was out there working. Had this whole thing planned. We're going on a hot air balloon. He wanted to propose to me there. The night before, it was my birthday. I got drunk. I was sick. I was throwing up, everything. We go to the place. I was like, I'm not going up there. I'm scared. I let my fear cripple me. He had this whole plan to, profess his love for me, get on his knee, ask me to marry him. He couldn't. He could not. He was like, okay, well, I guess come here, sit over here.
On the ground.
We're not gonna go. You sure? I was like, I am not going up there. Anybody who know me, once I make up my mind, it's a done. I'd be like, you go. I'm gonna be right here at the exit.
How you go about meeting people?
I'm a people person. I got that from my father. I'm so grateful that has never been a thing for me, even when I was a young person. Like, I've always been, how you doing? What's your name? I like your shoes. Do you like this? I love cartoons. Da, 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 da. So much so that my mother was like, hey, chill out. Everybody's not your friend.
There it is.
Right? And of course, obviously, certain situations didn't work out, or, I wanted to, just being too green out in the world like that. But I think it's despite those little situations, those mishaps, I love people. So I'm very observant. As a writer, as an artist, as a rapper, I love to people watch. And so when I people watch, that gives me a way to find an end.
But what happens when the people be like, what the fuck you looking at?
Well, you got to know how to watch. I'm also a New Yorker. Right? I'm also a New Yorker.
I don't want to be a creep.
Like, I'm not no creep. I'm not crazy. Right? But you just observe. I guess people watching sounds stalkerish, but when you observe people,
it's the best thing ever. People watching.
And it's funny because, like, I had met you, I met Jen, but when Jen came back from, we all had went to the training. When Jen had came back from the training, she was leaving out one day, and I was like, "How was training?" And that's how we started the conversation. That's how we just started talking every single day. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why this was so important to me, I'm glad I said something, because in that moment I said, oh, she's fucking funny as hell. She was like, man, it was hot as balls out there. Something. It was a phrase that I had never heard of. And I was like, I like her. This is funny. Of course, then she leaves and everybody was like, hey, that's your friend? That's your friend? Hey, that's your friend? Hey, what's up? Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation about the creeps that we used to work with. But don't be afraid to meet new people. Like, I love people in general. I mean, the older I get, a little bit more ornery I become. I'll be like, I don't like people. But you'll be amazed at the things that you find out and the access you wind up having when you just ask somebody a question. Or like even in the film industry, like I went to film school and stuff, and like people like, oh, we want to shoot here, we want to shoot there. And I would be like, all right, sir, he want to shoot a rap video. I'm shooting a rap video. Do you mind if we do that? So many people would tell me yes, just because I asked them. Mm-hmm. And when you don't ask, you could sit here and be like, oh man, they're not gonna say yes. All they could tell you is no. So. Or like, don't talk to me. I don't want to make new friends. That's okay. There's other people, and then you just become so much more enriched. These might not be people that you meet for a lifetime. These might not be people that stay in your life, but it's a great way to learn about yourself too.
That's true.
Right? You meet new people, you learn about yourself. You're like, she's into Malaysia moccasin making. And I like that too now.
Episode 5 in the bag, y'all. Thank you so much. We're going to see you next time, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Have you subscribed?
Have you? Same time.
Have you followed?
Have you?
Have you commented?
Have you?
Have you liked? If not, go ahead and do that. We forgive you. We forgive you.
I know, because y'all be so enthralled with what we'll be saying. Y'all, child, I forgot to hit the like button.
Go ahead and do it now.
Now. Right now.
I can hear it.
Cool. And we're going to see you next time. Mojen Lee Talks.
It's the hashtag.
It's the hashtag.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yay.
Hashtag Mo Gently Talks. It's the clean theory. Clean spirit homes and lives when you feeling weary. The space is safe to purge and re-emerge. We hope you feel the urge on the verge to stay driven while looking at the lives of 3 dope black women. No topics forbidden, raw, bearing our souls. We got love for everybody, even some for you trolls. Talking life, lost love, how to get to the bag. The clean theory, Mo Gently Talks. It's the hashtag.